lives. It has been a hot minute since I talked about any movies, so we're gonna do that today. I have not honestly watched very many new movies this year. I've been doing a lot of work travel and just life has been busy. So I was starting to be mad the movies were coming out that I was not getting to see. I have finally caught up, so now obviously I have to tell you all about the experience. So the first movie that I saw was Operation Fortune, starring Jason Statham, Josh Hartnett, Hugh Grant, and a lot. Like, this is a huge cast. It's a Guy Ritchie movie, and it was fantastic. That said, I feel like this movie is probably for most people a 3-star movie. Like, it's kind of an off-brand Mission Impossible where you have the lead spy who can do everything. You have his supporting team. They're going after the ultimate bad guy who's gonna blow everything up. So it felt very much like that Mission Impossible kind of vibe, but I didn't feel like the team clicked as well as it did in Mission Impossible. Like, I just didn't feel like everything in the movie came together in as satisfactory of a way. But I also felt like this movie had much more humor, which I appreciated. It's an action comedy. We know that's my favorite. And it's an action comedy spy movie. I continue to love them. So for me, it was a 5-star, but honestly, I think if that's not your genre, it's probably just a run-of-the-mill action movie, but in a fun way, right? Like, even a basic action movie is still a good time. I felt like Josh Hartnett's character needed to be more developed, but I really liked the interaction they had with Hugh Grant being the villain. He actually had like a full storyline, and he was fantastic. Him and Josh Hartnett together, top tier, absolutely. So the principle is that Josh Hartnett is an actor playing an actor, and they need him to get into a gala so that they can, like, infiltrate the spy ring that are trying to buy and sell weapons. And Jason Statham is the main spy. Carrie Ewells is his handler. Then you have your tech people, the tech woman whose name I cannot remember for the life of me. And basically they're all just, oh, there's a sniper too. But yeah, basically they're all supposed to be working together. They have their little skill sets. It was good. I really liked it, but I honestly don't know that it's for everyone. Then we have a movie that everyone else really liked, and it was okay for me, and that is the Super Mario Brothers movie. I thought it was fun. I thought visually fantastic. Like, the nostalgia was real, and the way that they created all of the, like, islands, universes of the Mario Brothers universe was top tier. Princess Peaches, absolutely, she was the icon, but I just didn't feel like the actual story was there. Like, I get what they were doing with Mario and Luigi. It just didn't, like, there was not that emotional tug for me that I think you've gotten in something like Onward or something like that. And, like, I feel like I would rewatch it once just to see it again, but I don't feel like it has broad rewatchability. Like, there's no real reason for me to watch it again other than nostalgia. So I didn't love it, but I did like it. I feel like everyone else liked it so much more than me, though, and I'm very jealous of that. Then I watched Dungeons and Dragons. Look, we know I loved it. It's an action comedy. I'm gonna keep saying it because it's still my favorite genre. Also, I have been deprived of this content for quite a while, and Hollywood is now just making movies for me personally, and I appreciate it. I'm thriving. I am living my best life. So, Dungeons and Dragons. I have never played the game, by by the way. Like, I know nothing about how the game is played. I'm nerdy, so I know everyone who plays, but I don't know how, and at this point I'm afraid to ask. But that did not hinder my enjoyment of this film in any way, shape, or form. Like, there would be points where I could clearly tell this was a reference to the game, but not knowing what that reference was didn't mean that I didn't understand what was happening in the movie. So, also, random fact, this movie is mostly in the daylight, which I very much appreciated because I'm tired of this super dark action films where you can't see anything. Like, if you're not watching in a pitch black room, you have no idea what's happening. So I liked that this was actually something I could watch at any time of day. So, Dungeons and Dragons has Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez working with Justice Smith and Hugh Grant, and they are like a little merry band of thieves. But then things go wrong. One of the group betrays the others, and some of them escape. Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez end up getting captured and sent to prison, and Chris Pine's character has a daughter that basically gets abandoned when he is sent to prison. So their goal is to break out of prison, retrieve his daughter, and figure out who betrayed them and why and what to do about it. So they do break out of prison fairly early in the movie, but after that everything goes wrong. And again, this was right up my alley. It's hilarious, but it actually has a strong storyline. You are still invested in the family dynamics that are going on. It's a found family group. I mean, I loved everything about this. There is a good balance of action and comedy, and just general plot. So yeah, highly recommend. You don't have to have played the game to or know anything about it to watch the movie and enjoy it. So next was Renfield, which has Awkwafina, Nicholas Hoult, and Nicolas Cage. And honestly, all I knew about it going in was that Nicolas Cage was Dracula. That was all I needed to know. I was fully invested at that point. This movie is about Nicholas Hoult's character, who is Renfield. Renfield is Dracula's thrall, so he has certain powers of his own as a thrall, but he serves a purpose, which is to bring back people for Dracula to eat. And Dracula wants Renfield to bring back good people, so like nuns. And Renfield wants to bring Dracula bad people so that he feels less bad about having them killed. And it's basically about their toxic relationship and how Renfield wants to leave, but he just wants Dracula to be happy, and he wants him to be happy. He just wants everyone to get along. But it's not working. And so he's trying to forge his own path. And it was fantastic. It is super cheesy, very over the top. There is a lot of blood and gore and like just blood spurting everywhere. Usually that's not my thing, but in this case it didn't bother me because I felt like the rest of the movie was so extra that it would be weird if you didn't have that. There is like a side storyline with mafia families that was kind of necessary in that the Renfield plot wasn't substantial enough on its own, but I also don't feel like the mafia storyline was adding anything to the plot. So I have mixed feelings on that. And then Awkwafina plays a police officer who's after the mafia families, and she gets kind of caught in the middle between Renfield and Dracula's separation, as it were. I thought it was hilarious, like Renfield trying to move into his own apartment and have all the positivity vibes, like him in the room with all the posters of like climbing Mount Everest, top tier. The fight scenes were enjoyable to some degree. They were, again, kind of over the top, but I liked that they had humor incorporated in their fight scenes. Overall, highly satisfactory. I loved it. But if that sounds appealing to you, it was very good for what it was trying to do. Like, it set out to achieve something, and it did. If you liked The Lost Boys, I think you would like this. I can't imagine there wouldn't be crossover there. And then the last newest movie that I saw was The Covenant, another Guy Ritchie movie. This was fantastic. I mean, objectively, this was hands down the best of any of the films I have talked about. Cinematically, objectively, a generally good movie. This is about a soldier who is in the Middle East. Was he in Afghanistan? I think he was in Afghanistan. And he had a translator. Long story short, he is injured. His translator drags him across the country to a military base to keep him safe. And then when the U.S. pulls out, is it when the U.S. pulls out or before? Regardless, essentially the translator gets abandoned, and he's a wanted man for helping the U.S. And he has a family, and he can't escape. And the soldier feels really bad that the translator was abandoned after he went to all that work to save his life. So the soldier, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, goes back to save the translator. It was so good. If you liked American Sniper, you have to watch this movie. I feel like war movies come out fairly frequently, but like good war movies only come out every few years. And this was one of the best ones that I've seen in a very long time. So if you like war movies, you absolutely have to watch this. It's kind of like American Sniper meets The Hurt Locker. I thought they did a good job of giving you like the atmosphere and kind of the gritty vibe, but at the same time, it wasn't bad camera work. A lot of times in war movies, I feel like they try to give you atmosphere by just giving you a shaky camera, and those do not correlate for me. So this was actually like clean filming, but still achieving the goal of making you feel like you were there. So fantastic. Objectively a fantastic movie. I loved it. And it's a movie that I would actually want to rewatch. A lot of time war movies, you watch them and you're like, okay, that was really good, but I never want to see it again. And this is not one of those. This is one that I would like happily put on again. So highly recommend. Then we're going to talk about some of the TV shows that I've been watching, because that is most of what I've been watching lately. So first we watched season 3 of Jack Ryan, which was good. Honestly, I'm kind of slowly losing interest, but I thought this was a better season than season 2, but not as good as season 1. So, like, I'm not mad about it, but I'm not as invested as I want to be in it. I felt like one of the things that I really liked in season 1 was that you had Jack Ryan actually being an intelligent character. And then in season 2, you kind of just had Jack Ryan being present. And in season 3, you kind of get back to him being a relevant character in his own show. So I enjoyed it, but I am kind of losing interest. Then we watched The Terminalist, also on Amazon, with Chris Pratt and Taylor Kitsch. Sorry, I'm watching Lucky try to fall off the couch and it's distracting. So in Terminalist, we have Chris Pine, who was a soldier. His unit is killed, and he finds out later that it was perhaps done on purpose to cover up a drug trial fail. It's good. Like, it's well made. And the characters are interesting. I'm just not, like, fully invested in it. And I have no excuse for why. I feel like if this was a 2-hour movie, I would have loved it. But like a 6-episode, 6-hour show, I'm just like, okay, we get it. but I do appreciate that they actually like kill people. That sounds terrible, but in a lot of the like TV action shows nowadays, that doesn't happen. So it feels like if the whole point of this show is to be a revenge character study, then he should in fact get revenge, because otherwise you're not doing a character study. So I appreciate that they acknowledged that and they went for it. Instead of just giving you all this build up with no payoff. So it is satisfying in that capacity. But it's not my personal favorite. Also, it is completely in the dark and you can't see anything, and it drives me crazy. And then we watched all 3 seasons of American Gods. This was on Stars, but we watched it on DVD. And I have so many thoughts. Okay, look. I loved season 1. And I absolutely loved what they did with Matt Sweeney, the leprechaun. And I loved the casting of this entire show. But I despise, with every fiber of my being, Shadow's wife in this TV series. And I do not understand how you can have one character be in 3 seasons of a show as a main cast member and have absolutely 0 character growth. And she had a lot of room for character growth, and there was nothing, not a thing. I think we were supposed to like her. Was she supposed to be a likable character? I must know. Did anyone like her? I hated her. My husband hated her. Every time she came on the screen, I was just like patiently waiting for her character to be killed off or something. And having read the book where she's not in it at all, I was very confused about what was going on. And also, she was awful. And they kept giving her love interest. I was like, don't give her a love interest, give her a therapist. Work with me here. Yeah, could not stand that. But the rest of the show, I enjoyed. I really liked what they did with Tech Boy. Yeah, it was very mixed feelings on American Gods, and it was very visually impressive, but there were some episodes where like the visuals got in the way of the actual plot of an episode. So it would be like a really fancy PowerPoint with like 7 lines of dialogue in an hour-long episode. I was just like, what is even happening? How many drugs did you take before you made this episode? So there were things that I really enjoyed, but there were also things that drove me absolutely crazy. Mixed feelings all around. And then the other show we've been watching is The Pretender. I think we're on season 3. My husband has completely fallen in love with this show, which is good. Like, I watched all of it in real time when it came out originally. But he had never seen it before. The Pretender follows Jared, who as a child was taken by an organization called the Center. They trained him to be able to become anyone. So, you know, like he can read a book and become a doctor or something ridiculous. The thing that I like the most about this show is that they actually turn the bad guys into real characters. I feel like if Burn Notice had taken that message, they would have gone a lot farther. But in this one, you have Sydney and Miss Parker, and like the center characters are just as relevant as Jared, the main character. And so you're invested at literally every point of the show, which I loved. Also, I like that it's an old show, so it's very much a plot of the week, as opposed to a lot of the newer shows where you have to watch, where it's like 5 episodes, but there's only plot for 1 episode strung out amongst those 5 episodes. It drives me crazy. But yeah, we've just been rewatching that, which is fine because I'm studying after work, so that gives him something to watch and something that I can passively enjoy. But the I've been watching, like I said, just rewatching old movies while I'm doing other things. The Emperor's New Groove and Princess and the Frog have been very popular. We watched Poseidon, the newer version. Still love it. And what did I watch? Oh, I did a buddy watch with a friend for Sharknado 3. We're going on Sharknado 4, The Fourth Awakens. I'm loving it. It's so bad, but yet so good, you know? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, those are all of the movies and TV shows that I've been watching recently. Let me know if you've watched any new movies. If you have any movie recommendations, leave them down in the comments below. A lot of you have recommended Airwolf to me. I found it on Tubi, and I am planning on starting watching it. We just got back from travel, so I plan to start watching it soon. Thank you all for everyone who recommended that. There's several other recommendations I've gotten that I am working on as we speak.